Namaskar. It is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Swaroop Bhattacharya and the members of the audience on behalf of Chairman INTAC, Shri Ashok Singh Thakur, Member Secretary Dr. Ravindra Singh, and all my colleagues at INTAC. Today is the second lecture in our series on the maritime heritage of India, the boat building traditions of India with focus on Eastern India, specifically Bengal, by Dr. Swaroop Bhattacharya. Bengal is a land shaped by water. It is crisscrossed by rivers, streams, and countless water bodies. Long ago, people who lived here learned to live with water, not just survive it, but travel on it, work with it, and even build their lives around it. They created many kinds of boats, each suited to a different need, overcoming the power of rivers and even the ocean. This deep connection with water gave rise to what is called the boat culture. This presentation will focus on the rare boat building tradition in Bengal called the chot. I hope I have that pronunciation right. You'll get the right pronunciation later. This is the first boat digitization project of its kind in India. The chot that Dr. Bhattacharya and his team recorded was built by a master craftsman, Panchanan Mandal, and his 4 sons. They built a full-size boat, 35 feet long and 9.5 feet wide. Though this type of boat is no longer used in daily life, documenting has helped preserve it forever. All the materials collected are now kept in the British Museum archive, and the boat itself will be preserved at the National Maritime Museum in Lothal, Gujarat. Dr. Bhattacharya has been researching on Bengal boats since 1997. Man-boat relationship became the focus of research, which was looked from an anthropological perspective through intensive field-based investigation. His research at Viking Ship Museum, Roskilde, Denmark, as the guest research scholar, and also at Center for Maritime Archaeology, Southampton University, UK. Presently, he is working as curator of National Maritime Museum of the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal, Gujarat. He also actively took part in the process of development of Heritage Boats of Bengal Gallery in Kolkata, Water Transport Gallery of IIT Kharagpur, and Odisha State Maritime Museum, Cuttack. And now, I formally hand over to Dr. Bhattacharya to take forward the presentation. Sir.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for me that at least the Bengal maritime culture or riverine culture I will present here in Delhi. Delhi means it's a dry, landlocked country, but I'm from that part. It's a not landlocked country. It's full of rivers. So I will start with a movie. Just follow it.
It is the story of my first love, about growing up on the banks of a wide river. First love must be the same any place, and it might have been in America, England, New Zealand, or Timbuktu, though they do not, of course, have rivers in Timbuktu. But the flavor of my story would have been different in each, and the flavor of the people who lived by the river would have been different.
সোনার বালুচর যেথায় বসে দিনের আলোয় চখা চকির ঘর রে চখা চকির ঘর সান সকালে দুয়ার বসা
This is Bengal, full of rivers, full of watercraft, different types of watercraft. And not only watercraft, it's a culture. We call it boat culture. If we look Bengal, this is the typical Bengal. A river, it's flowing in that way. And in that river, the craft, watercraft, it's essential. We do not know when it developed, where it developed, but at least we know the Paleolithic people, they use that kind of watercraft. That is invention much more before the wheel. And you know that sometimes it's more important because without that craft, that human migration might not be possible. So it's very important to look into the craft, the watercraft. That is the watercraft by which that person can go to other land, that he can cross the river, he can cross the barrier of water. If we say about the India, we know these are the old ancient informations on our boat. These are all from Harappa Mohenjo-daro. Harappan civilization. It depicts that we had that kind of maritime contact with those kinds of different types of boats. Probably that is a reed boat, a boat made of reed. This is probably a boat, planked boat, with different types of different planks joining. And probably that one is the ocean-going vessel with a mast and a yard that is being sailed. And these are the two toy boats. These are all found in Harappa Mohenjo-daro area. And those toy boats are from Lothal. In the Bengal, we know how to survive in water. We live with water. We know how to swim. We know how to cross the river, how to ply the boat. They know. From the childhood, they learn that. And if we look into the 1990s, that was our Bengal. I'm talking about the Bengal means it's the Bangladesh and West Bengal. Not only the Bangladesh, West Bengal, also little bit of Assam, then also Orissa also. Not only look the different types of sail, but look into the different shape of the sail, different types of boats, different color of the sail. So not only we are technologically advanced, but we have also the sense of aesthetics. That's why that kind of sail, square sail, the ancient sail, and it's the song, boatman song, and we call it Bhatiyali. Bhatiyali is the song, goes with the rhythm of the river. If you fly along the current, you can sing those kind of song. Even in Bengal, there is one club called Mohan Bagan Club. They have used that symbol as boat. So it's not only in our daily life, it's included in our institutional life. It's everywhere, the symbol is used. In Bengal, we have that novels, we have songs, poems. Everywhere, the boat has inserted into that book. Here it is Tita Shakti Nodir Nam by Advaita Malla Barman and Manik Bandyopadhyay's Padma Nodir Maji. It's intricately written about the water, then watercraft and the fishing communities. Not only in the novel, but in cinema, Satyajit Ray also used boat as symbol.
কি চাও কাজল কিছু বলবে
তুমি কোথায় যাচ্ছ
তুমি আসবে আমার সঙ্গে
তুমি কলকাতায় যাচ্ছ
যদি যাই তুমি আসবে
আমার বাবার কাছে নিয়ে যাবে
নিশ্চয়ই
বাবা আমায় বকবে না
কেন বলবে কাজল
আমায় ফেলে চলে যাবে না
কখনো না
তুমি কে
তোমার বন্ধু তুমি আসবে আমার সঙ্গে কাজল কাজল চলে এসো কাজল চলে এসো চলে এসো কাজলা
দাদু বকবে
দাদু জানতে পারবে না দাদুকে আমি বলবো না এসো
Boat. Boat. Freedom. Not only that, we know all about the Kerala Boat Race Festival, but hardly we have any information on Bengal boat race. We call it Nauka Baich. Boat race is not only the Kerala one, it's all around the Southeast Asia. We know about Dragon Boat Festival. We know the Vietnam Boat Festival, Cambodia. We have also the Bangladesh Boat Race Festival. It's very popular. And it is in Sundarban, in West Bengal. There is also another song. More rhythmic. This is the song related with the pedal. In every stroke of the pedal, you can sing that song. So it's much more rhythmic. So when you are making competition with other boats, you have to throw your paddle in that rhythm. Actually, if you ask a kid of Bengal to draw a picture, he will draw in that way. There will be a river and a boat. It's always, because that nature nurtures him. If we look into different variety of boats, that is a kind of boat. We call it watercraft. It's a raft. It's a plantain raft, banana trunk. Few banana trunks are tied together to form a raft, kolar bhela. Sometimes we also use a kind of round-shaped any vessel, any bowl-like structure. We call it nada. Nada is used for jaggery preparation. But we can recall that we have similar kind of round-shaped boat in South India, Tungabhadra. They call it Perisal or Horigolu. And in Ireland, we have that kind of round-shaped boat. We call it Coracle. And in Euphrates Tigris River, the same round-shaped basket boat, we call it Kuafa. So it's not an unique one. It's all over the world you can find that kind of round-shaped boats. We have also Nada in Bengal. Now, the people, they thought that they can make a watertight compartment, that is the dugout. We call it taler donga. A single trunk, they hollowed it out to make a watertight compartment. Taler donga. It's very popular in lower Gangetic area, mainly in the flood-prone areas. A shalti. So each and every boats we have different names. These are all typological names. Typological names means the building procedure of each and every boat is different, and its shape is different, its function is different. So at least 35 types of boats I can tell you. It's my last 25 years of information gathering. It's called Shalti. Shalti in Joynagar area, in Sundarban areas, that kind of long and narrow boat are used. James Hornell in 1946 in Water Transport, the book is very renowned. He had mentioned that Shalti means it's a dugout. Probably that was the single logged boat in earlier times. But nowadays, instead of that single logged, we are using different planks. It's a planked boat now. So after dugout, they are putting those planks to make it more wider. In that way, smaller planked boat developed. It's called dungi. Dungi of Subarnarekha, another kind of boat. So, how they joined those planks, we do not know actually. We do not have any old records. But if you look the present day boats in eastern coast, not only in eastern coast, all over India, that is the technology. That means they are putting some holes and they are stitching that one. That is our technology, Shiun boat technology. That is the one of the oldest type of technology, because before the invention of iron, probably we used that method to build big ships. Then later we developed that kind of nailing technology. That means nails are put here on the plank. So it's another method. But that one, yeah, we know the Shiun technology all over the world. We know the nailing technology all over the world. But you will not find any that kind of boat all over the world. It's only the uniqueness of Bengal. We call it stapled boat building tradition. They call it Patamer Nauko, Jolui Dewa Nauko. It is Bengal. where a double-ended nail or a kind of double-ended plate, they inserted just like a staple pin in between two planks. So this is our method. This is the uniqueness of Bengal. Sorry, actually. These are the double-ended nails, double-ended plate. Stapled boat building tradition of Bengal. In this way, we have made those kinds of boat. I already mentioned there are various types of boats, and each and every typological variety we have name. Like these are the boats, we call it Pauka or Paukia, unique boat. That is the Panshi. It's the Panshi of Kolkata region. They used to carry, earlier days they used to carry the salt from Calcutta port to different godowns of upper streams. But nowadays they are carrying those sands. We call it Jele Bachari. Bachari is the typological variety and Jele is the community, fisher folk community. They use that kind of boat. Malo Bachari, another variety. Malo is a fishing community and their specified boat is Malo Bachari. Trawler. We call it trawler, but they do not use the trawl net. It's a recent innovation. In 1990s, we adopted that technology from Bangladesh, and we are using that technology. So a foreign boat, we termed it as trawler. It's not, they are not using the trawl net. It's a place called Bolagad. Bolagad is a commercial boat building center in Hooghly district near Saptagram Bandar, the medieval port of eastern India. And they build that kind of boat. It's called Bali Tolar Nauko. All these boats are shell built. Shell built means firstly they put the planks to form the hull of the boat. This is the hull of the boat. Later they put those frames. We call it Bank and Gocha. So these all essential Bengal boats are shell built in character. But this one, no. It's a skeleton built or frame first technology. That means firstly they put those skeleton first, then they put those planks on the outer hull. Think in that way that our boat builders firstly conceive the shape and with that shape they raise those planks. But in European country, they first make a template. They put all those, if it is 30 hath in length, then the width of the boat has to be that kind and the curvature will be of that kind. On that basis, they put those ribs. So it's a template based technology. We call it skeleton built technology. We are also following it in Bengal. But our boat is generally perceived through our head. We do not have any written records. We do not follow any template. It's all oral tradition. This is the knowledge we have transmitted from one generation to another. And still we are continuing. Another boat it's called Shultani. This is also frame first technology. We do not know really where from we adopted that technology. But if you look the location of that boat, it's near the Tamrolipto port, that is the ancient port of Bengal on the mouth of the Ganges. So we can think in that way that earlier times, in ancient times, people used to come from other parts of the world and we adopted that technology. Might be one answer. And for developing the hull, there are various measurements. These are the measurements the boat makers follow. They knows how to erect the central plank. All these measurements are through hand. Sometimes they call it angul, the fingerment. These are the units of measurement. We do not have any inch scale or centimeter scale. Boat is not an inanimate object. It's a living entity to our boat makers and also the boat users. That's why probably they're putting those eyes. That kind of eyes is also common in Portuguese boats, also common in Egyptian boats. So probably there are some linkages of culture, acculturation, and maybe other things. We propitiate that portion. Who propitiate? The boat builders. Who build that boat, he thinks he's giving birth to his daughter. After completion of the boat, that boat used to go to others' family, owner's family. So they think it is the ceremony of marriage. So they are putting bangles. There are other ritual objects like the meter, kum, shari, and other things, what we use at the time of marriage. So it's the marriage ceremony. So if you look the Bengal boat in holistic way, at least you can get some kind of information that is related, which is embedded in our culture. If you look into that boat, it's called patia. Here, the planks are laid. That plank is laid on top of the previously fitted plank. That means it's overlap planking. That kind of overlap planking was also there in Viking boats. We call it clinker, but it's different one. Clinker means the latest plank has to be fitted on bottom of the previously fitted plank. Here it is just reverse. That's why we call it reverse clinker. And that Viking boats all were clinker fashion. That is, the boat can give you a history, 1,000 years of history. How? On 13th century, we found that kind of relief work. It is now in Indian Museum. It's a kind of boat similar like that of Patia, where that plank is laid on top of the previously fitted plank. Probably, this is the elephant. So it's a boat which can carry elephant, which can go overseas for trade or for other purpose. Now I'm comparing that one. Here that 13th century relief work, and here it is the present day. Omit that one. The lower portion is just like that one. So after 13th century, we have added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 planks. So last 700 years, we were able to put 7 planks, 1 plank, 100 years. This is the process. It's not an easy. Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. So, our ancient, that 13th century boat is still plying in coastal areas. So, you do not need to dig your soil. You can easily find it in your own coast, in your own house. You know that one is called Kattumaram. It's all over the Tamil Nadu, Andhra coast. We know after tsunami, they had got some money, so they built that kind of Kattumaram. It's a kind of raft. But after that, they are transforming it into a fiberglass one. So the boat builders, those who knows the carpentry of that wooden Kattumaram, no longer need any technology of that. So we are losing that skill, we are losing that knowledge. At least in 2014, the other minister named Dr. Upen Bishwas of Backward Classes Welfare Department, Government of West Bengal, thought at least there should be a museum. So a museum developed in Kolkata, Kakurgachi. It's a heritage boats of Bengal gallery with 46 models. So you will get the information of 46 Bengal boats in that museum. Later I thought that at least I can start model building, at least can give a scaled down model, very appropriate or scientific way. So I'm building that one. I made those kinds of models. And those models, you can find it here in Gurgaon. There is one heritage transport museum. They have kept 10 models. You can also find it in Odisha. You can get it in Switzerland, Germany, USA. So they are taking it as a souvenir. Also, it's our heritage. Probably that's why people are interested. I'm also making another boat. It's called Chand Nauko. Crescent-shaped boat, a boat of Eastern India, and it's typically the Bangladesh boat. We call it Sampan. Sampan is the boat of Chinese origin. That Chinese origin boat is now in Bangladesh. So you can imagine the maritime contact. In 2002, we have developed a database, Endangered Material Knowledge Program, funded by British Museum. They provided that money to develop a boat, commissioned the boat. After 1 month, 10 days, we were being able to build that boat. It's called Chot boat. Chot is a unique type of boat which can go into deep sea. It has the capacity to cut the river water, cut the ocean current, cut the wave of the ocean. Nowadays, we lost that tradition, the Chot boat building tradition. But with the help of British Museum, we commissioned that boat, and each and every seconds we digitized it. So entire information, the digital information, we are now keeping it in the British Museum archive. So anybody, if interested on that boat, they can go through that Chot boat builders of West Bengal, India. They can search that one and easily can get access to that. We built that boat here in Bagnan area, Dehimondol Ghat, on the bank of river Rupnarayan. This is our team. Professor John Cooper of Exeter University and Dr. Jishan Ali Sheikh from Southampton University. And the person is our chief boat builder, Panchanan Mondol, Amol Mondol, Manishankar Mondol, Dilip Mondol, Deepak Mondol. They are all our team members. They are all from Mondol family. They are the Namashudras. In Bengal, there are two group of people, those who build boats. One is the fisher folk community, they are Rajbongshis, and another community is Namashudra. And you know, there is not a single, I have not found any single boat builders who is from the upper caste. All of them are from the lower strata of our society. Still they are continuing that knowledge. And I told you already that it's without any measurement. They measure it through their eyes. He is measuring the curvature. He is thinking that whether it is right or wrong. This is Panchanan Mundal, and this is our chot boat after completion. Not only that single, each and every minute we digitize that boat, out of that digitized material, we made those kinds of drawings, 3D drawings, line drawings, sectional drawings. So these are the informations, we can keep it for posterity. In future, the people, those who are interested, they can learn that boat building from that documentary. We have not restricted ourselves with the research only. We have also tried to disseminate the information through social media, through news channels. That is from the Telegraph. And after completion of that boat, it's moving to Calcutta Port Trust. And that boat will be, still it is now in the custody of Calcutta Port Trust. Later, it will be transferred to this building. It's a museum. It's a museum under construction in Lothal, Gujarat. That is the construction process. And the name of that museum will be National Maritime Heritage Complex. 400 acres of land for a single museum. Amazing. At least there will be a place where boat can show their grace. A boat is building there. It's a Harappan boat. Now, I have shown you earlier that it's a kind of Harappa Mohenjo-daro's boat with line drawings. We found it in a potsherd from Mohenjo-daro. Maybe it is 3,000 years old or maybe more than that. If you consider that line drawing, that one is the mast, that one is the yard to hoist the sail, and that one is the hull of the boat. That one is the rudder, or sometimes I call it steering oar, with a tiller. Unique. I think it's probably the oldest representation of sailing ships of the world so far. So our Harappan people used to travel from Harappa to other places, Mesopotamia, Egypt, and other places. Now, have a look. That is the line drawing. I am superimposing to a Bengal boat. It's almost like that one. So, probably the hull structure of Harappa and the hull structure of Bengal are very close. Probably. It's not my word. It's the James Hornell, Basil Greenhill, Sean McGrill, those who walked here, it's their opinion, and I'm echoing. So, if you like to see the Harappan boats, you have to move to Bengal to see the hull structure. And they are the people, those who are continuing that tradition. They are the people, those who are carrying forward the knowledge, what they have gathered from their gurus, because it is the tradition, we call it Guru Shishya Parampara. It's not a caste-based occupation. It's purely the Guru and Shishya. The inheritance of knowledge is from Guru to Shishya. So these people are still following the same carpentry, probably 1,000 years ago. These are the people.
ময়ূরপঙ্খী নৌকায় আমার মেঘনার দ্বারে বাড়ি ওরে বাতাসের লগে
Actually, this is the song. I like to pause it or maybe make it a little bit less louder. The boat maker, Nimai Barik, told me they will continue their tradition as long as water is there.
ময়ূরপঙ্খী নৌকায় আমার মেঘনার দ্বারে বাড়ি ওরে বাতাসের লগে লাগাইয়া
They are continuing their tradition.
বাতাসের লগে লাগাইয়া আড়ি ময়ূরপঙ্খী নৌকায় আমার মেঘনার দ্বারে বাড়ি
Thank you so much.
To reach you because we are recording.
Sharupda, good evening. I am a life member of INTAC. I'm Surya Roy. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. One of my research areas has been the Kalingan maritime trade, and I found a lot of similarities around it, particularly on the mother goddesses, where they also put something. I wanted to specifically ask you, from your experience from 1997, did you manage to come across the gunboats, especially, which were used by the Baro Bhuyas of Bengal in their naval warfare when they were resisting the Mughals or the Pathans, or the boats used by the Mog Jaladoshura? Did you manage to come across anything of that sort? Because those battles were decisive, and the gunboats played a very crucial role. So just to, if you can share something, if you have.
Yeah, very tough question. I'm an anthropologist, and my area of research is only restricted on field-based knowledge. Yeah, so I know the boats, where it is flying and how they are surviving. So I'm restricting myself only to the living boats. I've never gone through the historical records, and we know there are records, but really you cannot, it's a hard task to relate those older things with the present day. Really, we do not have the proper information. We know the Mongol Kabbos, yeah, we know the Chand Shodagar. They are saying that it is the dinghy by which they traveled for overseas trade. You know the dinghy? The word dinghy means it's a without any keel. Without any keel, a boat cannot go to the open sea. So it's a completely different opinion. So those who have written those things, they do not know actually what is the real boat is. They do not know about the patia boats. They do not have any idea of chod boats. They can write from their own experience, they can write. So really, I'm sorry that I do not have any information.
Thanks. On documentation and the work that you're doing. And I also greatly appreciate your honesty in saying that you're not a historian and not looking at the past. But I was a little surprised. Let me just then raise only two questions relating to your work and not relate to the larger question which I had, that I beg to disagree with many of your assumptions. But that's another matter. The two questions, one is Patia is also in Orissa, Balasore.
Yeah.
And Shauma Grail and Umakant Mishra have also documented it.
Yeah.
But towards the end, you seem to assume that nothing has changed as an anthropologist between the Harappan period and the Bengal boats, right?
Yeah.
There is an issue there. First, Lothal is in Gujarat. Gujarat has a very different tradition than sailing down the Indus. So we are looking at two traditions.
Yeah.
We're looking at the riverine tradition and we're looking at the seafaring tradition.
Yes.
And Gujarat has a completely different set.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how, as an anthropologist, I mean, as a historian, I have problems with the connections you're making. But as an anthropologist, how would you then relate a Gujarat Lothal sailing tradition in the open ocean and using a riverine boat, which is found on in Harappa, on Mohenjo-daro, with Bengal, which is again a riverine tradition. It's not a seafaring tradition. So I'm just wondering how you would react to that. But I enjoyed your presentation, and I've always enjoyed your work. Thank you.
Yeah, Bengal is typically the riverine in culture, but we have also the ocean-going, we had also the ocean-going vessels. We know the ocean. Yeah, from Tamrolipto, we used to travel to other parts. So we know the nature of the sea. Now, ocean means it's full of waves, full of currents. So you have to cope up with the nature of the ocean. So your hull structure has to be of that kind. River-going vessel, it's differ from 10 kilometers away. That means a boat of 10 kilometers, it's the same type. Then in another 10 kilometers, it's a different kind. But in open sea, it's all same. So, yeah, but obviously the tradition of British is different, the tradition of Portugal is different. But I think that 2,000 years ago, the hull structure, all are round-hulled boat, shell-built boat, probably. Yeah, not frame-first technology. So I do not have any representation of, we do not have any representation from Bengal maritime tradition, what kind of boat was there. But at least there are in Lothal or the Harappa Mohenjo-daro area, we have some remains. That's why I'm correlating it. And I think the hull structure, the double-ended boat structure is maybe superficially is very much similar. Sorry.
These all technologies which you showed, how much is the lifespan of all these boats which you are shown? And these Gujarat and Bengal, they are cyclone-prone areas. These boats, when they are constructed, what steps you take in the technology part to prevent withstand this cyclone? You have not mentioned anything of those things.
Yeah, all boats used to use those high quality woods, teak and shal in Bengal and other parts also. So a good quality boat with good quality of wood, it can last for 100 years or more than that. But nowadays, because of the economic condition, because of the paucity of timbers, we are not making those boats out of teak and shal. The local wood, it can last for a few years only, maybe 5 years or 10 years, maybe 20 years. So it depends on the quality of wood. Secondly, the storm. Yeah, if it is the storm, then you have to shelter yourself. You have to anchor yourself. We know that in riverine ports, all ports used to be inside the river in earlier days. We put our boats inside those docks, inside those rivers, to keep it in safe position. And also you can anchor your boat on the open river or in the mid of the river. You can keep your anchor in the mid position so that it cannot thrust to the bank, so that your boat cannot be destroyed. So if it is, it can move here and there, but if it is anchored properly, it will stay there.
This is quite fascinating. In the Indus Valley civilization, did all trade happen from Lothal onwards? Because that's the only ocean going area. So if you had to trade with Mesopotamia, so everything would have gone from there. So was everything brought to Lothal to be taken away, for it to sail away? And so that means that's why the Maritime Museum is at Lothal.
Yeah, actually Lothal, S.R. Rao found one reservoir. He called it as dock. That is the dockyard. So ship used to enter into that dock through a river. So that kind of river, that kind of dock, we do not have any records of that time in other parts of the world. So probably that is the first dock in that sense. And from that dock, the Harappan artifacts or the precious items used to move from other parts, like to Egypt, Oman, and even in Mesopotamia and other parts. Yeah, probably.
They said that the beads from Kalibangan came to Lothal. No?
Yeah, actually I'm not historian. Himanshu Prabha is here. She can respond. And Basant Sindhe, Professor Basant Sindhe is coming on 18th. He can reply, but I'm not here. Okay.
One last question, and if I may ask that. The digital record of the boat building, Chot boat building that is there in the British Museum archives, will they be sharing it for the Lothal complex, National Maritime complex that's coming up in Lothal?
Yeah, it is already open access. Anybody can access that one. But we are also thinking that that same digitized material can be kept in the Lothal Maritime Complex, because we have a research wing there. It's forthcoming. So in that research wing, research center, we can keep all those records, all those informations. Anybody, those who are interested, they can look that information. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I now request Chairman Shri Ashok Singh Thakur to please hand over a token of our appreciation to the guest speaker. and some intact publications. A lot of these are our own documentations on various subjects related to heritage. Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya. Thank you, Dr. Bhattacharya, first of all, for taking time out from your very busy schedule to come to us. He came, ladies and gentlemen, early morning today, and tomorrow he's leaving by the 5 a.m. flight because he needs to be in Ahmedabad before 7 a.m. So that's a very tight schedule that you keep, Dr. Bhattacharya. Also, I must share here that he's the, for the on-site work that he has undertaken in Lothal, he undertakes a commute of 200 kilometers every day to go on site. And his office space is space is a trailer, a container, which is air conditioned, but the temperature outside has already reached 45 degrees. So Dr. Bhattacharya, you are what we at Intact call heritage warrior, and you are at the front line trying to preserve and conserve our heritage and our knowledge systems. Thank you so much, and we look forward to taking our association with you forward. Our ICH division is already in touch with you, and we hope for a lot of help from you in our own documentation efforts. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to plug in our lecture tomorrow, which will be the third in the series. And it'll be another fascinating lecture on revelations from marine archaeology. Almost like historical thriller. So do come again tomorrow. In the meanwhile, thank you for coming today, and we have tea waiting for you outside. Do join us for tea. Thank you so much.